I used to manage an Airbnb property, a quaint house in a busy vacation spot. Initially, it was thrilling, the extra income was great, but as bookings flooded in, it became overwhelming. One evening, a seemingly normal young couple checked in. Nothing out of the ordinary until I received a call from the guy, complaining about the water not working. It was odd, but I rushed over, thinking it might be a minor glitch. Pulling into the driveway, I noticed 2 cars. It struck me as odd for a one-night stay. Inside, it was eerily silent. No sign of the guests. Creaking echoed through the empty house as I stepped inside. I checked the main water valve in the basement, and to my surprise, it had been manually shut off. Dripping water echoed in the silence. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from upstairs, then down into the basement. 3 men, much older than the couple I'd expected, stood there, asking if it was fixed. Alarm bells rang in my head. I tried to remain composed, not wanting to escalate the tension. As I attempted to leave, passing by them, I glimpsed a gun tucked into one man's waistband. Heartbeats raced as fear gripped me, but they didn't follow as I hastily departed. I could hear breathing echoing in my ears as I rushed out. At home, I recounted the harrowing experience to my wife. We alerted the authorities. When the police arrived at the Airbnb, there was no trace of anyone. Turns out, the card used for payment was stolen, and valuable items were missing from the house. Chains rattling were heard from the basement, sending shivers down my spine. The whole water issue remained a mystery. Perhaps it was a ploy to avoid paying or a setup for a robbery. But why didn't they act when they had me cornered? It left me shaken, and we decided to stop hosting on Airbnb shortly after that. Weeks passed, and the incident haunted my thoughts. I delved into researching the house's history, hoping for some explanation. Surprisingly, I stumbled upon a forgotten news article about a family who lived there decades ago. They had disappeared mysteriously, leaving no trace. Eerie music seemed to linger around the details of their vanishing. Intrigued, I visited the house again, this time during the day. The atmosphere was unnerving, with whistling wind brushing against the windows. As I roamed the rooms, I found old photographs hidden under a floorboard. Images of the vanished family stared back at me, their faces etched with fear. Determined to unravel the mystery, I contacted a local historian who shared chilling tales of the house. It was rumored to be cursed, plagued by low-frequency rumbles and inexplicable occurrences. Stories of strange figures seen through windows and scratching sounds in the dead of night sent shivers down my spine. But the most chilling revelation came when I discovered hidden passages behind the walls, leading to a concealed chamber. Inside, I found an ancient diary detailing rituals and sinister practices conducted in the house, involving static rituals and an eerie mention of a malevolent entity. The pieces began to fit together. The incidents at the Airbnb property weren't just random criminal acts. They were a part of a larger, sinister plan, an invocation of an ancient evil tied to the house itself. The criminals had unknowingly stumbled into something far darker, unleashing forces beyond their comprehension. Terrified by the implications, I sought help from experts in paranormal phenomena. The investigation uncovered a hidden underground network utilizing Airbnb properties for illicit activities connected to ancient occult practices. I made peace with the fact that my encounter wasn't just with criminals but with something far more malevolent and incomprehensible. The true horror lay not in the thieves' intent, but in what they unknowingly disturbed, a malevolent force that lurked within the shadows of that house, waiting for unsuspecting victims. Ever wondered what it's like to spend a night in an Airbnb that turns into your worst nightmare? I've got a story that'll make your skin crawl. So, picture this, I'm on this solo trip to Portland, excited to explore the city on my terms. Found this amazing Airbnb cozy, serene, and perfect for a peaceful stay. Little did I know, it would become the setting for one of the creepiest nights of my life. I arrived just before sunset, met the host, a friendly lady with a warm smile, and got the keys. The house was charming, albeit a bit old-fashioned. I settled in, cooked a simple meal, and decided to hit the hay early. But around midnight, things took a terrifying turn. I woke up to the sound of the TV playing in the living room. Creaking echoed through the house, as if the old wooden floors were alive. Static crackled faintly from the TV. Now, here's the thing: I distinctly remember turning it off before I turned in. The eerie music that accompanied the static sent chills down my spine. Weird, right? As I ventured up to investigate, footsteps echoed from somewhere distant. I felt a chilling breeze. My heart skipped a beat when I noticed the front door was wide open. Panic set in. I knew for sure I'd locked it tight. Whistling wind pierced the silence, followed by a faint dripping water sound, adding to the surreal atmosphere. Closing the door slowly, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was lurking in the shadows. I did a thorough search, knife in hand, but found no one. Messages to the host went unanswered. Trying to shrug it off, I attempted to sleep, but the feeling of unease lingered. And then, in the dead of night, came a gentle knock on my bedroom door. Who on earth would be knocking at this hour? But here's the twist: the knock turned into a soft voice, pleading for help. "Help me," it whispered. Whispers filled the room, chilling me to the bone. I was frozen in fear, my mind racing. Suddenly, a child's voice joined the whispers, distant and sorrowful. "Don't let him find me," it pleaded, sending shivers down my spine. My heart raced faster. What on earth was happening? The whispers grew louder, blending with low-frequency rumbles that vibrated the room. In the midst of it all, I heard scratching, not from outside, but from within the walls. It was as if something was trying to claw its way out. I dialed the host's number in a panic, but the phone emitted only static. I tried the lights, flickering ominously. Every nerve in my body screamed danger. As I sat in terror, a clock ticking somewhere intensified the unease. A sudden screech pierced the air, followed by a haunting child's laughter that echoed through the halls. The room temperature dropped, and I could see my breath, the air thick with whistling wind. That's when I noticed faint growls, distant yet guttural, blending with chains rattling somewhere far off. I was trapped in a surreal nightmare, unsure if I was awake or lost in some twisted dream. The knocking continued, now accompanied by screams, muffled, tortured cries that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, the TV in the living room blared to life with static and an eerie voice whispering, "You should have never come here." That's just a glimpse of the bone-chilling tale that unfolded that night, a night where reality blurred with nightmare, and I questioned every shadow, every sound, and every breath.
Last summer, I embarked on a solo getaway to a remote Airbnb cottage nestled amidst serene woods. The picturesque drive lulled me into a sense of tranquility as I reached the quaint little town. The Airbnb host had assured me of a peaceful stay, mentioning they wouldn't be around during my visit. Upon arrival, the cottage exuded an inviting warmth. Everything seemed in place, and the quietude was a balm to my city-jaded nerves. With the sun dipping below the horizon, I strolled around, familiarizing myself with the cottage's layout. As dusk settled, I lounged on the couch, engrossed in a novel, when an unexpected doorbell shattered the silence. It was odd, guests arriving unannounced at this hour? I approached cautiously, peering through the peephole. Two men stood outside, speaking in hushed tones about the Airbnb. My heart thudded with unease. I was sure I had the place booked for the night. Their insistence on staying here raised red flags, especially when one of them tried the doorknob. Fear gnawed at me. I faked confidence, asserting that my husband would join us shortly, hoping they'd back off. But curiosity got the better of me, and I glanced out of a side window. There, beyond their car, stood a shadowy group, their faces obscured by masks or hoods. It felt orchestrated, like a trap waiting to be sprung. I dialed 911, whispering my predicament to the operator, while footsteps encircled the cottage. Panic surged as the front door yielded to force. They ransacked every room, the chaos amplified by my racing heartbeat. I barricaded myself in the bathroom, stifling sobs as they pillaged my belongings. Amidst the chaos, the creaking of floorboards merged with the unsettling scratching at the windows, a sinister symphony accompanying their mayhem. And in the midst of it all, whispers, indiscernible yet chilling, echoed through the walls, chilling me to the bone. Then, amidst the chaos, a peculiar detail struck me, an old journal hidden in the bathroom cabinet. Curiosity overriding fear, I flipped through it, finding cryptic entries about previous guests' eerie encounters at this very cottage, entries detailing inexplicable whispers and inexplicable shadows, guests plagued by a sense of being watched. Suddenly, amidst the chaos outside, I noticed a faint whisper, barely audible over the commotion. It spoke of something buried beneath the cottage, a secret that brought these intruders here. The police sirens blared in the distance, the burglars fled, leaving me in disarray. But instead of relief, a new mystery gnawed at me. What was hidden beneath this cottage? What drew these criminals here? Days later, as the shock faded, I returned to the Airbnb, determined to unearth the truth. I delved beneath the cottage, discovering a hidden compartment. Inside lay a box, ancient and adorned with strange symbols. Curiosity overpowered caution, and I opened it, only to find nothing. Just an empty box. Confused, I turned to leave, but a rustle behind me froze my blood. The same whispered voice echoed, clearer now, revealing a chilling truth: I was not alone in my discovery. Footsteps echoed, drawing closer, accompanied by eerie music emanating from the depths. The air grew thick with a sense of foreboding, the hairs on my neck standing on end. Suddenly, a child's voice echoed in the stillness, giggling faintly, followed by a low-frequency rumble that resonated through the ground. Shadows danced ominously, elongating and contorting in unnatural ways, as if mocking my confusion. Shaken, I hurried out, but the whispers persisted, growing louder, overlapping with static crackling like electrified whispers from the past. The wind howled eerily, carrying a chilling laughter that seemed to echo from the surrounding woods. As I sprinted away, the sensation of being watched lingered, the night cloaked in an unsettling quiet broken only by the haunting echoes of my own hurried footsteps.